So a black man can't be.
Pull the race card.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a race card, boy. So we got an Uncle Tom calling me, say I'm doing the race card, but he hanging with this dude.
Did you guys hear what the young black worker said? He said he's trying to pull the race card. It's exactly right, sir, young man. Mark is trying to pull the race card, and it's humiliating as a black person to look at this. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Sorry we had a little bit of a scheduling issue, but we're back. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of Mark Curry, you know, the guy from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Y'all remember that show in the 90s? Yeah. The 90s. Anyways, there's a video of him that kind of went, it went viral, him at a hotel, and he's trying to pull the racism card. Yeah. Got Matt Walsh talked about this, so we're going to hear his kind of thoughts on it, and then watch the clip of the video as well, so tell us what you guys think.
All right, so the problem is I'm in a hotel lobby, and this man wants to see, I don't know what's
if you're a guest.
Huh?
I'm just asking if you're a guest.
And I'm asking, are you a guest?
And he said, no, I'm an employee.
Well, let me see some ID. You got your backup. How you doing, backup? Does he speak? Hello, backup. John, you've been here for 15 minutes.
No, sir, I've not been here before.
Okay, well, we're gonna put you, all right. People, he's asking me for I can't be in the hotel lobby. This hotel lobby, you cannot be in this hotel lobby if you're black and you're in Colorado Springs. So if you're black and you're in Colorado Springs, you can't be in the lobby. Wow, this is crazy, isn't it? So check it out. Oh yeah.
Yep, that's the only reason.
Yeah. Look, they got a black man in Colorado Springs, so they send this dude. Look. Yeah. Oh yeah. The one he talks now. He talks. Yeah. Yeah. So a black man can't be.
Pull the race card.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear what the young black worker said? He said he's trying to pull the race card, and he's laughing. He's like a teenager, like a younger guy. It's exactly right, sir, young man. Mark is trying to pull the race card, and it's humiliating as a black person to look at this.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a race card, boy. So we got an Uncle Tom calling me, say I'm doing the race card, but he hanging with this dude. This is what it's all about, people. He called me the race card.
We haven't called you anything, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. I've asked you very politely.
What'd you ask me, sir? I can't hear.
Are you a guest of the hotel?
I can't hear you. Say it again.
You heard me.
I couldn't hear you. My hard of hearing. And then the brother here.
Are we on TikTok or Facebook? Which one is it?
He a brother. Look, he a brother, but he hanging with the white man, saying I'm pulling a race card. Look at the way this look. He need a race card.
Now, as I said, that continues for 20 more minutes as Mark Curry, the victim, quote unquote, becomes more and more belligerent, shouting and cussing at the hotel employees who are simply trying to do their jobs. Curry posted this video to Instagram along with the name of one of the hotel employees and the hotel's phone number. He sent an angry mob after the establishment. Many prominent people joined in the mob, celebrities coming to Curry's defense, expressing their support for him during this difficult and traumatic time. And yet anybody with ears and a brain to go between them can watch this and clearly see that the bad guy in this scenario is Curry himself. I mean, how morally deranged do you have to be as an individual to watch that and think that the guy holding the camera is the good guy? In fact, Curry's not only the bad guy, but he's also the racist one in the exchange. He repeatedly mocks one of the hotel workers, who's also black, calling him an Uncle Tom, making fun of the way he looks. He is screaming racial slurs at the hotel staff while claiming to be the racism victim in the conversation. And all of this simply because he was asked if he was a guest at the hotel. He could have answered and said yes, and the conversation would have been over. Only makes him even more of a sociopath. By the way, I have at least twice in my life, okay, I'll go on the record. Twice in my life at least, I have been approached by staff members at a hotel and asked a similar question. On one occasion, I was sitting in a hotel lobby and I was asked whether I was a guest, and the answer was no, because I was actually just there to steal their Wi-Fi, to be honest. On another occasion, the answer was yes, I was a guest and I was innocent of any crime. On both occasions, I simply answered the question. That's it. I wasn't interested in getting into an argument with hotel employees.
I feel like if Mark would have just simply, like he said, answer the question, this would be a non-issue. Because even when he asked the hotel guy, he said, are you a guest in the hotel? He asked the guy, trying to be sarcastic, it was condescending. But he asked the hotel guy, are you a guest in the hotel? And the guy said, no, I am a staff member.
Right.
I work for the hotel. So all that man did was simply answer the question, and then that was it. Mark, on the other hand, is being really belligerent, belittling, condescending, and sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm really...
And racist.
Yeah.
Because he called the black guy white Uncle Tom.
And also because the kid that he called Uncle Tom was a young kid.
Yeah.
So here's this young kid looking at this older black man.
Act like this.
Act like this.
Yeah.
And this is why we have the problems that we have.
Yep.
The reason why this was interesting to me when I first watched this was because this is what Danielle does for a living.
Oh,
so
yeah.
she has to do this to people all the time.
Right.
Like Matt said, sometimes people are just here to steal your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Some people are here to steal coffee. Some people are homeless.
Yep.
And this is how we keep the people who actually paid safe.
Yeah.
And, yourself. And so Mark Curry, I don't know if he's dealing with the fact that he's not famous enough where anybody recognizes
That's
him.
what I think it's more of that.
The man is saying to him is not rude.
No.
He wants to know, are
Yeah.
you staying in the hotel? They have the right to ask you that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the reason why that man is not leaving is because really, why are you not answering the question?
Right.
And the next thing will be security. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I felt like Mark used this as a way, first of all, to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Because he's not relevant anymore. Hanging with Mr. Cooper has been over for a really long time. We have barely heard from him. And he is literally trying to get brownie points with the black community by taping a man doing his job and making it awkward for two workers who work on way less money than him.
Right.
Nothing sicker to me than looking at people like Mark Curry, LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey, who was the woman who did Woman King?
Viola
Davis talking about, you don't support black women if you don't go see this movie. There's nothing that sickens me more than elite black people trying to make regular people who have to pay bills.
Bully them
and then use their large platform to humiliate and bullies people who just go to work and do their job. There's nothing that makes me more sick when black elite people try to act like they're not black elite people.
Right.
Like they don't have advantages.
Yeah. And they do.
And they do.
They do.
You know what I mean? It makes me sick to my stomach when I see that.
I wasn't interested in getting into an argument with hotel employees. I didn't see it as a publicity opportunity. And even though I was slightly embarrassed on the first occasion when I was essentially thrown out, I had no desire to exact vengeance or send an angry mob after them. Neither incident seemed, important or interesting to me, which is why I never mentioned them until just now. Which means in the anecdotal comparison, by the way, I have had this experience twice as many times as he has. The only difference is that I don't have a reflexive racial filter to feed every experience through. So if somebody says something to me, whatever it is, I don't immediately think, hey, he just said that to a white man. I don't think that. Okay? Instead, I think, hey, he just said that to me. Okay, you see the difference? Now, I am, of course, aware that I'm a white man. I'm happy to be a white man because that's part of my identity. I'm proud to be who I am. But I don't solely think of myself as a faceless representative of a racial category. When I walk about in my life and I'm operating and doing things, I don't think I am a white man doing all of these things. Like I'm some sort of agent, some sort of PR rep for whiteness. And so if I perceive myself to be treated unfairly in a given situation, I will not automatically assume that the treatment was racially based. I will cycle through any number of potential explanations. First, I'll wonder if the individual just doesn't like me personally. You got to think about that first. Like it's if people are treating you a certain way, maybe they just don't like you. Maybe it's you that maybe you're the problem, or perhaps they're having a bad day, or perhaps they're simply incompetent, or perhaps Perhaps you weren't treated unfairly at all, or perhaps any number of other explanations. And if there is specific evidence that I was the victim of racism, then I'll take that into consideration. I'm not going to rule it out. But of course, it's not going to be my first assumption. It's not going to be my first, last, and only theory, because I'm aware that I am more than a racial category, and so is the other person in the exchange, and I'm aware that life is complicated and people are fueled by many different kinds of motivations.
So, okay, so yeah, like, shout out to Matt Walsh, though. He got Matt has been permanently demonetized from YouTube for not using the pronouns and misgendering, right? He refuses to go along with this ridiculous narrative going on. And so they have permanently demonetized him. So anyways, shout out to him, because I like Matt a lot. I think he speaks a lot of truth, and he's not afraid to say these types of things. Matt is 100% correct in this whole situation. Like, when he says that everything he does is not racially motivated for me. You know what I mean? So when I walk out into the world as a black woman, I don't walk out into the world looking for a racist situation. Or if something happens where it's uncomfortable to me, a certain situation, I don't automatically go. And the opposite race is, making it uncomfortable. I don't automatically go to, that person's only doing that because I'm black and they're white.
I mean, I get most of the hate comments come from black people.
Black people, most of our, I think all
our comments, most of our because black people don't like it when black people don't. Yes. You know what I mean? And this is what happened with that kid with Mark Curry, is that this boy probably works with white people. Yep. And he's probably friends with them because there's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so he's like, oh man, using the white card, using the race card. Yeah. And that triggered Mark to then try to put him in his place. Yes. And make them, I don't think that they like you, even though Mark probably lives around all white people. In a gated community. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it just sickens me when black people do this. Black people in our comments do this to us all the time. I never really hear white people say bad things to me. Well, the racial
stuff is 100% from all black people in our specific.
Because you're not supposed to have your own thoughts. You're supposed to think black. Yeah. And that's it. And the instant you don't think black, and you're not black enough. Yeah. And it's just like I said, things like words like black love and black joy, those things really hurt us more than they help us, because it makes us stay in this like racial idolatry that we need to let go of.
You already know how we feel about the king and the queen stuff. Like,
it's these things
that make us, and I think it makes us arrogant. Like I think it makes us arrogant. I think people like Mark, I just think it's arrogance to me. And he was slouching down in the chair,
like a big baby,
being a big it's like adult tantrum he was throwing. I will say, like Kara's mentioned it before, that like we work in a hotel. I work front desk, and there are times where there will be people or a person or something in the lobby. I don't initially go up to anybody and then start kicking people out. But when I see someone's been in like the hotel lobby couch area for a very long time, and they're getting stuff from our breakfast area, like our spoons and forks and coffee and just there, we are allowed to stop and say, are you staying in the hotel? Because when someone's there for an extended period of time, I don't bother them, but it's not until it gets a little bit like too long where you start to get, and I will say this, in all of my years of working in a hotel, I have been correct on every single time I've asked someone to leave for trespassing. The reason why that's important to do what this man did is because it really is protecting the other guest and yourself. What happens a lot in hotels, higher end, lower end, doesn't really matter. Higher end, you can kind of get lost in there, because it's such a big, it's a little bit different. But what happens is a lot of like homeless people will come in and
just people stealing Wi-Fi,
stealing Wi-Fi,
free coffee.
Yeah, there's also there's a lot of stuff that can happen in hotels that I think a lot of the public is not necessarily aware of. And so when this man is asking Mark this question, it's not because he's trying to profile him. It's because he's trying to make sure everyone that's in the hotel is in the hotel, because paying guests are allowed to use the Wi-Fi. Paying guests, whatever. So it's like it's really like courtesy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the what do you call it? Undocumented people. The people that came here illegally feel slighted because they had to do so much to get here. They paid their dues. They did their thing. And then you just get these people that just run past the border and they could just live here. And that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like these people paid to stay here. If you don't have to pay to be here and you can just steal Wi-Fi and just slouch and sit in couch, I mean, then like, do we have to?
There's nothing wrong with...
There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, most people will let you just stay for it. Maybe just tell the truth.
I do. When people are like, oh, you know, can I use your Wi-Fi? If people say that, I go, okay, sure, it's no problem. I'll give you, you know, whatever, however minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, right? I'll give you that. I even tell people to have coffee. You know, if they're not, you know, I say that as courtesy. We also have public bathrooms. I'm like, okay with that. But there's certain behaviors that we have to, as employees, hotel employee workers, we have to be extremely aware of, only for the safety of myself and for everybody else. Because there has been times where people have come into hotels and been there casing the place. I'm not saying it happens all the time, I'm just saying this has happened. And I can firsthand experience, I know this. So I feel like it wasn't a crazy question to ask. All he had to do was answer the question. But he felt, you know, entitled and probably embarrassed to not answer the question. You know what I mean? And I don't think anything wrong with that. Now, I would say also that pretty much almost everyone that I've asked that question to, or someone, if anyone's ever witnessed me asking someone, are you staying in the hotel? May I ask you? You know, they've always said, I'm glad you're asking that. Most people say to me, I'm glad you asked that question. And yes, they'll say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not, right? But most people, like other guests, they do like to hear that the staff is vigilant of the area and making sure it's secure. And so that's what I'm saying. It's not a crazy question. But what bothers me, like Kara was saying, more about this whole situation. Well, first of all, these two people got suspended. I believe I'm sure they got reinstated. I'm not sure, because I don't think that's out of hotel policy. I don't think that's way beyond. No,
they got
policy.
Suspended because Mark Curry is Mark Curry, and I think this had to do with the fact that Mark Curry did have some fame in the hotel. Or actually, I'm talking about him. Yeah. I think he was a little annoyed that they didn't recognize him. Because they'd have been like LeBron James, maybe they wouldn't have said anything, or maybe, you know what I mean? But they didn't recognize him, and he felt not famous for a second. And so he made a big deal, put this on Twitter, I think, this video. And I'm gonna assume that the people who own it or the people who run it probably felt like this doesn't.
Well, it's probably uppity.
We don't want racial problems. Yeah. You know, he's famous, and so what we're going to do is suspend you. You know, and these things happen to people, especially when it comes, and that's why shame on him. Yeah, for putting two, working class people out of work because your ego was bruised.
Yeah, a lot of companies, whether they disagree with Mark or not, we're in such a heightened racial kind of world right now, where everything's got to be about race now, right? One thing can go wrong as long as there's a white person involved and a black person involved. It's a racist situation. You know, everything is just a racist situation now. So a lot of companies are in this weird position, even if they don't agree with Mark, where they just don't want the bad PR, and they have to. And essentially bow down to this nonsense.
And I think that's nonsense. I'm embarrassed for black people. I hate when black people act like this. You know what I mean? I hate this. It's embarrassing.
It is.
You know what I mean? You make us look like a bunch of big cowards.
Yeah.
Like we can't deal with any kind of pressure.
Right.
Like we're treated with kid gloves all the time. And every time people even say anything that's of truth, we just fall to pieces.
Right.
Like we don't have any strength or anything. That's what it looks like. It looks like we can't. And then you think about black people in the past, now they had some real strength.
Yes.
We have the most freedom. Black people in America have the most freedom of any free people. Yeah. Black people anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even in America, in any time in America, we are the most free. Right. And we are complaining the most now.
All the time.
Over little things like being asked if you are staying in a hotel. Yeah. And you make this a big deal. Remember Sha'Carri Richardson? She gets on a plane. Another one. Sha'Carri gets on a plane. She's looking... First of all, put your phone down. Why do we have our phones? She's looking at her phone
to get a moment.
Herself, and the guy says you have to put your phone away. And she makes this big deal. They delayed the flight because of this altercation, probably because they thought they were going to kick her off, and they did kick her off.
Yeah.
That's why you're not working today.
If you have small
vacation time. such as cell phones, tablets, and smartwatches.
Okay.
Please switch them.
I'm recording me, but you jumped in my video, so I caught you because you jumped in my video. You're harassing me at this point, so I think you should stop. I think you should stop. I think you should stop. You see him, right? Y'all see him, right? Y'all see him, right? Okay. Okay, but I'm sorry. It's not me. Talk to him. No, ma'am. Don't talk to me like that. I'm an adult. Do not talk to me like that. Do not talk to me like that. Tell him to stop. If you do not know what's going on, do not yell at me.
You can stop recording.
No, I'm not going to start recording because I was making a video to myself.
Recording.
I'm going to not start recording. And this video will show what you're doing. So I would appreciate... Who are you talking to, ma'am?
Other people to get involved.
Thank you. Like, no.
And she didn't get the same reception, I guess, as Mark Curry did because
No,
the public was
they weren't with
annoyed.
her.
You know what I mean?
Well,
And-
because there's procedure and protocol.
Right.
And on a
but
plane,
again,
you want to
this,
follow procedure.
Black
Yeah.
privilege, really.
It is. And I
That
know
people,
hate
that black
that.
people feel that because as long as I lean on my blackness, I can get away with saying, doing,
yeah.
and inconveniencing everybody. And I'm going to do this because I have that right.
You know, what happens is a lot of people ask, like, you know, you guys are always calling out the behaviors of black people. You never call out the behaviors of, you know, ex-whites or whatever. And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm black. So I'm going to call out things that I don't think that are right. And I really feel like right now what needs to be called out is black people.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because white people call out white people. You know, the whole Karen thing came from a white guy making fun of white women.
Yes, yeah, it sure did.
And he noticed something.
He
You know what I
noticed
mean?
about-
And so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, yeah, you have to
yeah.
call out your own race when you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Because if white people call it out, all they're going to be called is racist.
There's more to black people than just always pulling out the race card. It really is. And then they're always like, it's always going to be of course, the Uncle Tom. Of course, he had to pull it out because they do it to us too. They always pull out the Uncle Tom thing. Uncle Tom, bed wenches. You know, I'm like, always reduce yourself to name calling. You just pull out the name calling because you have nothing else. You ran out of ideas.
I have a lot to say
It's a
about
terrible
people
example.
of this kid's generation, but he just proved that even this generation can have more sense than my generation.
Facts.
You know, does the racist exist? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not in everything that we do just because you don't get your way.
Right. Yeah, let's know what you guys think about all this. Y'all think, you guys think like we think that he just didn't get recognized, he's embarrassed? Or do you think this is an actual racist situation? Let us know. Leave some comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And that's it. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye.